Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. I am Sosan Ali and here are tonight's main headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presides over the celebration of laying the foundation stone for Oman Cultural Complex project in the Governorate of Muscat. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency the Chairman of the State Council heads the Sultanate of Oman's delegation in the works of the 3rd South Summit of the Group of 77 and China in the Ugandan capital Kampala. Oman Cultural Complex is a new civilizational achievement for the Sultanate of Oman. And the Omani Saudi Business Forum aims at enhancing mutual investments between the Sultanate of Oman and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq this morning presided over the celebration of laying the foundation stone for Oman Cultural Complex project and the building of the National Records and Archives Authority at the project site in Airport Heights in the Governorate of Muscat. Upon His Majesty's arrival to the project site, he was received by His Highness Sayyid Yazan bin Haytham Al Saeed, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, Chairman of the Foundation Committee of Oman Cultural Complex, and His Excellency Dr. Hamad bin Mohammed Al-Dawyani, Chairman of the National Documents and Archives Authority. After that, His Majesty the Sultan kindly viewed the designs of Oman Cultural Complex building through display panels that highlighted the contents of the project, which is an embodiment of the lofty vision to create an artistic and cultural destination of high standards, a civilizational, cultural, scientific, and intellectual achievement, and an institutional entity that represents an edifice of the Blessed Renaissance. Later, His Majesty watched a visual presentation about the project and listened to a comprehensive explanation of Oman Cultural Complex building through a model of the project and the components of the complex, which represent the National Library, the National Theatre, the Children's Library, the House of Arts, the Cinema House, the Literary Forum, and the National Records and Archives Authority, as well as the availability of restaurants, cafes, and public park services. After that, His Majesty the Sultan laid the foundation stone, marking the start of construction work for the project, which will be built on an area estimated at 80,200 square meters, on a plot of land with an area of 400,000 square meters, and at a financial cost amounting to 147,800,000 Omani riyals. The objectives of Oman Cultural Complex are to promote cultural, literary, theatrical, and research work, enhance cultural activities, events, and programs, develop areas of cultural work, collect Omani cultural vocabulary, highlight the cultural heritage in Omani memory, and provide scientific and intellectual research services to scholars and researchers. The complex will contain 3 main buildings: the National Records and Archives Authority building, which preserves Omani history, the National Library, which has the capacity to accommodate up to 1 million volumes, and the National Theatre, with a hall that can accommodate 1,000 seats. The complex will include 4 facilities, including a children's library, cultural cinema, and an exhibition building, and the headquarters of the Literary Forum, which will include a lecture hall, as well as fine arts hall and sections for young people to practice their various cultural activities. It will also contain 3 important national institutions in one facility. The complex will act as a dedicated, vibrant space to collect, preserve, and display live and historic contemporary arts and culture in the Sultanate of Oman. Along with His Majesty, the ceremony was attended by a number of Their Highnesses and Excellencies, as well as a number of officials. May the Almighty Allah protect His Majesty the Sultan, bestow upon him His abundant blessings, and grant him success in all that is good and prosperous for the dear homeland and for its honorable citizens.
وخلجانه المرجانية الفريدة تاريخا حفرته الأيادي الجبارة على المباني والحصون والقلاع والمعالم التي تحمل بين حجارتها قصص الأولين، تاريخاً مجيداً ينير ملامح كل عماني وعمانية، وتحمله السواعد الأبية بكل فخر واعتزاز. من هنا، من قمم الجبال، نحلق فوق وديان عماننا الحبيبة أرض الأمجاد، لنروي لكم تاريخ الأصالة والحضارة، تاريخ عريق متأصل ينسج ملحمة ما بين الصحراء والبحر، قدت تلابيبها من آيات الجمال وخصال الصمود وأمجاد الازدهار التجاري والتبادل الثقافي. يشيد كل فصل بالنسيج الثري المتنوع الذي يشكل هوية هذه الأرض الطيبة الاستثنائية بتفاصيلها وتضاريسها وأهلها. ونحط الرحال على أبواب هيئة الوثائق والمحفوظات الوطنية التي تضم بين رفوفها وأقسامها كافة العلوم الفقهية والتاريخية والإنسانية والسياسية والاجتماعية، وقد زادها ذلك هيبة ووقارا، فكل وثيقة تحمل بين سطورها تاريخ عمان المجيد وعلاقاتها وصلاتها وتواصلها. وقد ضمت تلك الوثائق الخرائط والسجلات والمخطوطات القديمة وغيرها الكثير، وهي اليوم تشكل جميعها الذاكرة الوطنية لسلطنة عمان، والتي تروي مآثر الإنسان العماني عبر الزمان وطيب أثره وبصمته المباركة أينما حلت في دول العالم. ومنه نشد الرحال إلى المكتبات التي حفلت بها القلاع والحصون والجوامع على مر الزمن، صرح الشموخ والثقافة، الينبوع الذي يفيض خيره على سلطنتنا الأبية بسيل لا ينضب من العلم والمعرفة، فنرى الماضي والحاضر في اتحاد وألفة، وتشهد بلادنا تقدماً كبيراً بخطى حثيثة في مجال التحول الرقمي من حيث توفر أحدث تقنيات المعلومات التي ما تنفك تذهلنا وتدفعنا نحو التميز الذي سيتجسد في مجمع عمان الثقافي، فاتحة أبواب التعلم والثقافة على مصراعيها أمام الجميع دون ما استثناء.
Amman Cultural Complex, which today laid its foundation stone at Airport Heights in the Governorate of Muscat by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, represents a new cultural, civilizational, scientific and intellectual achievement for the Sultanate of Oman, aiming to be a modern landmark. The complex comprises 3 key institutions in one facility, serving as a vibrant space for the collection, preservation and display of Oman's living historical and contemporary arts, culture and heritage. The complex includes 3 main buildings: the National Theatre, the National Library and the National Records and Archives Authority, along with 8 additional buildings for complex facilities. The total cost of construction is 147.8 million Omani riyals, covering an area of 400 square meters. The total built-up area for the project component is 80,200 square meters. The complex will contribute to cultural, literary, theatrical, and research advancements, fostering activities, events, and programs while preserving Oman's national memory. It comprises components such as the National Theatre, National Library, Children's Library, Arts House, Cinema House, Literary Forum, National Records and Archives Authority, and visual art halls. It also provides services like restaurants, cafes, and a public garden. The complex aims to enhance cultural and literary activities, develop initiatives, and support the Ministry of Heritage and Culture strategies, overseeing and assisting both government and private cultural institutions. It also focuses on providing research services through two important institutions, the National Records and Archives Authority and the National Library. The National Records and Archives Authority, a major building covering 22.5 square meters, will utilize documents to showcase Oman's cultural and historical aspects. It aims to encourage scientific research, intellectual creativity, and preserve achievements for the national memory. The authority will also play a role in education by contributing to general and higher education curricula and establishing a modern document management system across government entities. Furthermore, the authority will contribute to historical research through its publications, instilling national values and enhancing them through various programs, documentary exhibitions, scientific, intellectual, cultural, economic, and social releases. Assigned by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Excellency Sheikh Abdul Malik bin Abdullah Al Khalili, Chairman of the State Council, headed the delegation of the Sultanate of Oman participating in the work of the Third South Summit of the Group of 77 and China in the Ugandan capital, Kampala. During his speech, His Excellency the Chairman of the State Council conveyed the greetings of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq and his sincere wishes for success and prosperity for the summit. His Excellency the Chairman of the State Council affirmed that the Sultanate of Oman sought to translate its commitments to achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2030 by including them in its development plans and programs based on the principles of the right to development for all, eliminating poverty and providing a decent living for all segments of society through the country. With the aim of building and forming an institutional communication system to accelerate the development process, the workshop's comprehensive strategy, communication, and identity strategy started at Sultan Qaboos Youth Complex for Culture and Entertainment in Salalah. The workshops discuss a number of topics, namely sustainability, responding to climate change and mitigating its effects, achieving urban development for integrated development based on the elements of conservation, and achieving economic growth and prosperity for integrated regional development that enhances the comparative advantage of the governorates, in addition to managing the environmental and natural and cultural heritage to protect and manage cultural and natural heritage sites. The workshops were held under the auspices of His Highness Sayyid Marwan bin Turki Al Said, Governor of Dhafar. The Oman Chamber for Commerce and Industry organized today the Omani Saudi Business Forum in Muscat. The event was aimed at enhancing mutual investments between the Sultanate of Oman and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. More details in the following report.
The Omani Saudi Business Forum, which was organized by the Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, was focused on boosting mutual cooperation between Oman and Saudi Arabia in the economic and investment sectors. The forum brought to light ways to activate strategic agreements and partnerships between Omani and Saudi companies.
Today, we launched the Omani Saudi Business Forum. We present the incentives and the opportunities for Saudi investors, and we will sign agreement between companies. We know that special relation between both countries will give us the room and the space to invest more in both countries, and there are more projects are coming on the way between Saudis and Omani, and we are very optimistic for the future.
We are very happy here. We have invitation from Oman Chamber. Today with the Riyadh Chamber and all of our company with the private and government sector, today we are here to support this business. Today, if you know about Oman Vision 2040 and Saudi Vision 2030, and as you know, the last I think 2023, We talk about more than 30 billion Riyal Saudi. We try to increase this number to get more. I think today we try to do engagement all this company together. Hopefully with the private sector and with the government sector together hand by hand to push all the job to get inshallah this investment very good.
During the forum, various working papers were presented to showcase investment opportunities and incentives in the Sultanate of Oman and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The papers covered several factors that support investment in economic and free zones.
Our participation in this event, Oman and Saudi Joint Committee will emphasize on the role of the public authority for economic zone and free zone on the incentives, the master planning, and also we will be emphasizing on what will be the opportunity and the success story on certain project. The plan is to present the new economic zone at the border between Oman and Saudi Arabia, and the master planning on the phase 1, and what would be the opportunity, the investment opportunity in the new economic zone in the border, and when it will start. Also, we take this opportunity to present the possible investment project that we can present to our colleagues from Oman and the investors from Saudi Arabia.
The forum discussed accelerating the launch of joint Omani-Saudi projects that align with their economic diversification goals and identify potential mutual ventures and investments across various sectors. The private sector and business owners are called to capitalize on the investment opportunities and form sustainable partnerships leading to economic prosperity for both nations. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Saleh Bukhalfan Al-Rahbi, Muscat.
Efforts of the Omani-Korean Parliamentary Friendship Group, its future plans and means of developing them between the two friendly countries were reviewed by His Excellency Khalid bin Hilal Al-Ma'wali, Chairman of the Shura Council, when he received Honorable Jong Shon-suk, head of the Omani-Korean Parliamentary Friendship Group, and her delegation, who's on an official visit to the Sultanate of Oman. The meeting dealt with ways of boosting the joint bilateral relations between the two countries in different fields, exchanging expertise in legislative aspects, increasing common cooperation through counterpart parliamentary assemblies and visits, as so to help upgrade the parliamentary process. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources, in cooperation with the private sector, is working on Mustadeem program represented in the hybrid solar and productive farms in the Sultanate of Oman. The program is working on the implementation of solar energy power plants in the farms to reduce carbon emissions and electricity consumption. The project will serve more than 54 farms with a capacity of 10 kilowatts for each farm, while reducing electricity consumption by about 20 to 30%. On an area of 50,000 square meters in Khazayan Economic City, the Flag Logistics Oman company is launched as one of the significant foreign investments in supply chain sector. The project will be considered as a great addition to support the strategic location of the Sultanate of Oman in enhancing the logistics sector through linking Khazayan City with the Gulf and Middle East ports. The launch of this company comes in line with Oman Vision 2040, and it will contribute in fulfilling the logistics services in addition to linking the Sultanate of Oman with the global economy. The Royal Academy of Management, in partnership with the National Investment and Export Development Program, NISDHR, launched the Investment Planning Program. The program aims to conduct a comprehensive study of opportunities, potential areas of investment, and development possibilities for various sectors in the governorates. The implementation of the program reflects the efforts of the Royal Academy of Management and the Nizdaher program in enhancing cooperation, exchanging knowledge and expertise, contributing to the development of the local economy and attracting investments in line with the objectives of Oman Vision 2040. The Omani Society for Human Resources Management, in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor, is set to host the 7th edition of its annual conference HRX from February 11th to 14th at the Oman Convention and Exhibition Center. More details in the following report.
At the press conference held this morning, the Omani Society for Human Resources Management, OSHRM, announced the 7th edition of its annual conference due to be held in February. This annual event is being organized in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor, and its sessions will take place at the Oman Convention and Exhibition Center from 11th to 14th of February.
At OSHRM conference, we're looking how the fast technological changes and human resources interact on both government and private sector. Following Oman Vision 2040, we are examining AI's influence on jobs and the need for the ethical standards on this new era.
The OSHRM conference will discuss the topics of leading the artificial intelligence revolution, navigating its ethics and its impact on the future of jobs, diversity, equity, and navigating organizational culture in the age of artificial intelligence.
Launching the Oman Human Resources Management Conference that will take place in 2024. The main theme of the conference is the HR and digital world, because it goes hand in hand. We try to bring the best practices in country. The conference will have local speakers as well as external speakers, and the aim is that we all share knowledge, best practices, and then bring value to the country.
The conference will also review the modernity of work, its tools and components through workshops and dialogue sessions that discuss developments in the human resources sector and innovative experiences and solutions, all of which aim to develop human resources, enhance human capital, and rely on the new work culture in the future.
This is the 7th year of OSHRM conference. We plan to take it to fresh new heights. As you know, the whole world is buzzing with the latest technological trend. I am, of course, referring here to AI. It is also the main preoccupation of the ongoing World Economic Forum in Davos. The impact of the AI, no doubt, is going to be massive on individuals, businesses, and society. Therefore, we decided to make AI as the underlining theme of this year's conference.
The conference will also focus on several important topics, including the latest transformations in the field of business, innovative human resources techniques, employee participation in strategy development, insight into the future of business and skills development. The OSHRM conference seeks to chart the roadmap for the future of work, showcase smarter ways of working and the latest business transformation insights by bringing together a community of hundreds of decision makers, visionaries and technologists on a common platform. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here's a recap of our main points. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presides over the celebration of laying the foundation stone for Oman Cultural Complex project in the Governorate of Muscat. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency the Chairman of the State Council heads the Sultanate of Oman's delegation in the works of the 3rd South Summit of the Group of 77 and China in the Ugandan capital, Kampala. Oman Cultural Complex is a new civilizational achievement for the Sultanate of Oman. And the Omani Saudi Business Forum aims at enhancing mutual investments between the Sultanate of Oman and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night, and until next time.